Hey guys, it's Mason and Jeremiah here, and we're going to be showing you guys how to shift parent functions. Now we're going to begin by graphing some linear equations. To graph a linear equation, you'll be using the equation y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. Now a y-intercept, in case you don't know, is when your x value equals 0, and an x-intercept is when you know your y equals 0. And so for this example in particular, you'll start off by graphing your intercepts. Your y-intercept will be 6, and then your x-intercept will be -3, and then you'll connect them and draw a continuous line. So now, when you're graphing a quadratic equation, you'll most likely have the equation y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And then you'll most likely have to convert that into y equals a parentheses x minus h parentheses squared plus k. The a in this equation represents how narrow or wide the parabola will be. When a is less than 1, the parabola will be wider. On the contrary, when a is greater than 1, the parabola will be more narrow. The h in the equation represents the lateral shift from the origin, while, k would be the vertical shift from the origin. In this specific example, you'll begin by converting to vertex form. Once you're there, shift the parent function 3 to the left, and then up 1. You'll then have to use the table of values on the graph in order to complete the quadratic. Now let's shift gears here for a little bit. When you guys are graphing a cubic function, you will use the equation y equals a parentheses x minus h parentheses cubed plus k. This is the same equation as the quadratic, only it's cubed instead of squared. Again, the h is the lateral shift while k is the vertical shift. You have to remember this whenever you guys are graphing. In this specific example, you'll begin by shifting the parent function to the right 2 and then up 5. You'll use the table of values to graph. Now, as shown on this graph, the bottom part of this graph is a little hard to see, but it's actually on the line. You'll have to look closely to notice. So, now, when you're graphing an absolute value function, be sure to use the formula y equals a absolute value sign x minus h absolute value sign plus k. Now for this example, begin by shifting the parent function to the right 4 units and then up 3 units. Then you'll have to fill in a table of values and then use that table of values to plot the rest of the points. Remember, the graph will always be shaped like a V, so if it doesn't look like a V, then you're using the wrong graph. Now, for this next graph, you'll be using the square root function. And in order to use the square root function, you'll need the formula y equals a square root x minus h end of the square root plus k. For this specific example, you'll begin by shifting the parent function to the right 2 and then up 2. You'll also need to fill in a table of values and then plot the table of values in order to graph the rest of the equation. You guys know circles, right? Well, when you guys are graphing a circle, use the formula x minus h, all in parentheses, squared plus parentheses y minus k parentheses squared equals r squared. The r in this equation represents the radius of the circle. For this example, you'll begin by shifting the center to the right 2 units and then down 9 units. Then use the radius to determine how large the circle will be. In this case, draw the circle edges 5 units from the center and then connect them to form your circle. Now, I bet you guys are all wondering, what if x is in the denominator of a problem? Well, that's simple. It's called a rational function. And when you guys are graphing a rational function, use the formula y equals a over x minus h plus k. Begin by finding the vertical and lateral asymptotes. The vertical asymptote is the k value, while the lateral asymptote is whatever will make the denominator equal to 0. In this specific equation, the asymptotes are x equals 4 and y equals 2. Then you guys will draw in the rest of the graph using a table of values. And that is our final graph. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video on how to shift parent functions. If you learned something useful or you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Also, check out our website at www.bgmath.weebly.com. See you guys next time. Happy Halloween!